They say they need you in 5 minutes.
All right, I got 15.
I'm here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm here so I won't get fined.
Start taking care of y'all mentals, y'all bodies, and y'all chicken.
Love the ambiance. I love the decor. If you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't gonna be able to take that over and over and over and over and over again. They're just not gonna want that.
Here's Lynch. Lynch! Marshawn Lynch! Beast mode! Touchdown!
Run through a motherfucker's face.
It's episode 5 of Film Never Lies. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm fresh off the plane from Winnipeg. I had an absolute blast at the Grey Cup. Quick congratulations to the Saskatchewan Roughriders and head coach Corey Mace. And now about our guest today. It's a man that needs no introduction. He's authentic, he's larger than life, and more than that, he makes time for his teammates like he did for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Beast Mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. I got to ask you, bro, you've been all over the place. You've been in a lot of different countries. What's your experience been like up in Canada, man? You like it up here?
Yeah, man, I do, man. I actually been going up there since 2007 when I got drafted to the Bills.
I mean, bro, we got a lot of Bills fans up here. They love you, man. Toronto got a lot of love for you.
Yeah, I know it's only like an hour and 15-minute drive away. So, you know what I mean? After the games and shit and, you know, the little downtime that we had, I for sure just go ahead across the I've been going over there since all you needed was a ID to get through that motherfucker. You feel me?
I feel you, bro. Now, let me ask this. Between playing in Buffalo, going to Toronto, I know you spent a few nights out in Vancouver when we were in Seattle. Which city you like better?
Oh, no, they different, but I would say Toronto though. Toronto.
Okay, bro. Let me ask you this. One of my favorite things you've ever said, man, is the interview you did. You talked about over and over. I believe the exact terms are run through a motherfucker's face. So we're gonna roll that real quick because this shit is iconic to me. Okay, iconic.
If you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't gonna be able to take that over and over and over and over and over again. They just not gonna want that.
Think there's a deeper metaphor there?
Run through a motherfucker's face.
Bro, let me ask you this. When did you, first off, that's the best, dude. You said a lot of unbelievable things. That's my personal favorite. When did you develop that, like, mentality, though? Was that in college? Was that before that? Was that in Seattle, Buffalo?
Nah, so I think, I mean, I had the pleasure of playing football when they actually let you hit a motherfucker. So, you know what I mean, from the first time that I got into to organize football, you know what I mean, hitting was a big part of the game. And what it did was it separated individuals. And, you know what I mean, the individuals who was willing, you know what I mean, to I'll say, like, hone that type of mentality when it came to contact, you know what I mean, those were the individuals who I seen elevate their game and start taking their game to another level.
Do you miss the contact?
Yeah, man, I'm bad at it too, because, you know what I mean, I'll get padded up. Can you close that door, bro? I'll get padded up with the high school students and go and hit with them. But, you know, it was a chance I got even with my college to put on some pads and go practice with them. And they had spring ball. So, I mean, you know, I guess when you a junkie for contact, yeah, you start to miss it. But my body be feeling like I need to hit some shit. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. The body craved contact. That's just the reality. Now, I do got to say a little
that's
personal
fact,
thing.
bro.
Yeah, big fact. I got a personal one for you, man. This is something I haven't told you yet. But I got an older brother, man. We're pretty tight. He's a head coach of an 18-year-old team. A couple years ago, he called me, and he said, man, I want you to watch some of the film. Tell me what you think. He's a head coach, but he's an offensive guy. I sent him that clip,
Right.
Marshawn, that exact thing. I said, this needs to be your team's mentality. So you know up here in Canada, we got provinces, not states. So
Right.
they go to the provincial championship, win this shit, get their little rings, man. On the inside of their rings, it's a London Junior Mustang. It says over and over. Because that Marshawn Lynch was the inspiration for their entire offensive identity, bro. So first off, I want to thank you on behalf of the London Junior Mustangs, big dog.
Man, I appreciate that, big dog. But it's crazy though, man. And you know, it was something that, you know, after a while of being in the league, I started to notice, like, you know, a lot of my closest friends were from the defensive side of the ball. And, you know, we would bust jokes and shit like, man, you know what? You got a defensive mentality. You just be running with the ball type shit. And I mean at the running back position, especially for the identity of what our team was, you know what I mean? That shit just, you know, it just played right on time for what we had going on. But, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was, you know, my G years of growing up, like, that was the thing. Like, if you was a hitter, then, you know, you solidify yourself, you feel me, on the team. You could not catch. You could be slow as hell. You could not even know the plays. But if you was somebody that would hit some shit, then you was one of them ones on the team for sure. And I started off at guard, so contact was my thing.
What you mean you started off a guard? You weren't playing running back?
Nah, I played guard, man.
Tell me what that was like, bro. You head out there and they're like, yo, we're putting you a guard.
That was I'll tell you, that was the foundation of actually building that physical nature, you know, that I played with. I mean, you know, when you're in the trenches, even though it's like it happened that fast, you got to be ready to come with that shit, and you was gonna get challenged. You for sure, you was gonna get challenged every play.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Marshawn. You talk about kind of how you played. How has the transition been? Like, bro, you're a cultural icon, bro. You be everywhere. Amazon, here, there, commercials. You know, how has that transition been from when you were a guy who's out here seeking contact, toting the pill, to being now like an inspiration to a lot of people, but also doing a lot of television work?
I mean, it was more the mindset, considering like you say, you know, the TV shows, the commercials, the movies and shit. But you know, throughout my career, you know, I've always done commercials for brands and shit. So I mean, you know, when I was done and I still had the opportunity to do them, it wasn't so much more of a transition from, you know, playing a sport to, you know, getting into the entertainment space, because I've always been there. It's just I decided to capitalize more on the opportunities that was out there for me.
Okay, now let me ask you this, bro. Back to football. We talk about, I mean, you've had some phenomenal runs. I think the most famous is probably the Beastquake. Do you have a personal run when you look back and say, like, that one is my favorite?
There's probably two of them that I can get to the pinpoint. And one would be, you know, rest in peace to Coach Bean. But it was one that I had in high school. I was playing in our championship, and it was sort of like what the Beastquake run was. But it you know, it was a run that I broke, solidified the game. And then there was a run that I had against the Rams in Seattle. And I think, you know, that one was more so just because I think it defined everything in which a running back, you know, need to possess in order to be successful in the league. I mean, it was power, speed, vision, balance, anything that you could think that a running back need to be successful, like in this play, it showed all of it.
That's epic. Now, I have always wondered, man, you know, when you came back and it was your second stint back, we got beat in the playoffs in Green Bay, kind of a tough ordeal, but pretty cool, like, you being back there. You said, make sure you take care of your chickens. Listen, bro,
Right.
I spent a lot of time in the locker room with you, man. I genuinely understand what you're saying. I have no fucking idea what that means, bro. What does take care of your bro, what the does that mean? Well,
That's
give me
'cause
to
you
it. What does that
Canadian, man.
No doubt about it.
No do the booty. Nah, man. But the thing is, you know, we get put in a position as young athletes where, you know what I mean, we come into a lot of money. And, you know, we think that it's gonna last for forever. So, you know, we do things that, you know, maybe don't make sense, but, you know, more so to take care of your chicken. First of all, chicken is that Gouda, that cheese, that scratch, that fatty. That I'm talking about. That dollar, lots of paper.
I know exactly
then
what you're talking about, bro.
but it's more so like, yeah, I mean, at a moment time, this thing for, you know, any athlete is gonna come to an end. And I'm saying just take care of your money so when you're done playing, yeah, I mean, and you bringing in you know, that large amount of money, make sure you take care of your shit, whether it's, you know, put something to the side, you know, saving or investing in it the right way, but, you know, going to go get some financial literacy so you can actually learn how to spend money. I mean, you know, it's a necessity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it helps a lot. And I mean, you know, it can put you in positions to where, you know what I mean, you don't have to struggle in. You know, I've been, you know, I played 12 or 13 years in the league, and I seen a lot of people who made a lot of money that when they was done, you know what I mean, they didn't take care of their chicken and they had nothing to fall back on.
Yeah. No, well, I'm glad we cleared that up now, man. That was a pretty iconic line as well.
Right, you probably just thought I was talking about some goddamn chickens or something.
No, I didn't, bro. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
At that stage, I have been around you enough, bro. But here's the real question. Again, I got this is the last one I got for you here, bro. Who is your favorite Canadian teammate you've ever played with?
Oh, see, look, man, you gonna put me on Mac Blast like that, man.
I thought you'd say for sure John Ryan. I'm like, you're going John Ryan off the bat.
No, see, look, man, I got a couple of them, man. You feel me, though? And I show a lot of love to my Canadians. But, you know, when I was in Buffalo, I got the opportunity to play with a guy, Corey Mace.
I'll tell you what, Corey Mace just won the Grey Cup yesterday.
So, I mean, you know, like, you know, not to, you know what I mean, I'm not ranking or nothing, but he was probably the first Canadian teammate that I had.
Damn, and Coach Mace got me. Coach Mace got me.
Man, I'm saying, because I was in Buffalo, he from right up the way, and I mean, you know, we used to go up to, like I said, we used to go up to Canada all the time, and you know what I mean, but he was a rare breed of Canadian. Like, even when he told me, I couldn't even understand what he was talking about. Like, the fuck you mean Canadian? Like, and you play football? Like, he like, yeah, we got football up here and shit. Like, yeah. Well, all right, but he was the one who turned me on to, you know what I mean, I say the Canada culture. But, you know what I mean, he was one of my first Canadian teammates.
Let me tell you this, man. I know you got to bounce, Marshawn, but I'll tell you something about Corey Mace right now. Head coach, had a great career, obviously, goes to what I call, we did a pod the other day, the mecca of football in this country. Saskatchewan, bro. I know you know the name, okay? And last night, this man took that team, which has not won in a while, and had a real gritty win, and, bro, they're tough as shit. That whole team is tough as shit, bro, and they kind of embody him. So he's humming up here, man. You got to get up to Saskatchewan and visit him.
He one of my sons too, man, and I know.
No, he ain't your son. I'm not your son. He
Hey,
ain't
you
your
my
son, bro.
too. Yeah, I mean, I got Canadian kids too. You one of my baby boys too, man. But the crazy thing is, he called me. I think it might have been yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I missed his call. So when he see this, gonna say, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be your favorite Canadian teammate," but you know what I mean, my name in your missed call. So I'm like, damn. So you know what I mean,
Get
when
him
I get
back,
off of
bro.
this. When I get off this jack with you, I'm gonna give him a call, and then you told me that they won the Grey Cup, so man, I'm calling, congratulate my boy, man.
Marshawn, I appreciate the time, man. Again, I appreciate you as a teammate. You know that, but I'll say the most I appreciate is the effect you've had on kids in Canada, and especially my boys in London, Ontario. Over and over, baby. You have a good one, Marshawn. I'll see you soon.
All right, big dog. Hey, man, it's a blessing, man. I appreciate you for having me, big dog. You stay blessed, man, and go do something with that damn mullet and that 70s porn star mustache, my boy.
Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. You just can't not love Marshawn. I'm telling you, it was such a joy being with this guy in the locker room. Because what you see is what you get. He's just the most authentic dude on planet Earth, in case you can't tell. And obviously, my time with him was in Seattle, and to me, that's kind of one of the cooler storylines this week. Something happened I absolutely loved. You know, Seahawks played, who, if you've been following me from a few weeks back or listening to these podcasts, the Rams are my number one ranked team in the NFL. I think they should be undefeated. The two games they've lost, we've addressed this before, kicking problems. You know, you lost an OT in the first game to San Fran, and you missed two kicks. Obviously, one of those would have, making one of the two, you're not going OT. And then you lost to Philly, and we all remember the two field goals in that, and the one that was blocked at the end of the game was a gong show. So this team, to me, could have been a couple special teams plays away from being undefeated. The Seahawks go in, they play the Rams this week in L.A. They have a 61-yard field goal to win the game, doesn't make it. But it was not Sam Darnold's best game. He had 4 interceptions. So I want to show you those, and I want to talk about an interview afterwards with one of their defensive leaders, Ernest Jones. So here's the interceptions from Sam. And again, it's 4 picks, and this is probably, to me, the worst one because he's got time, and he just doesn't see his defender. He's obviously going to want that back. You look here. Free hitter, takes a massive hit. Can he throw this ball? No, but it's tough. This is the second worst one. And then the toughest one here is watch again, free hitter. He's in traffic. He's just doing too much. So 2 of those picks, I think, are on Sam. I mean, at the end of the day, all 4 are on Sam because he's a quarterback. You know, he's going to own that. 2 of them is on the entire offensive unit. When you have a free hitter like that, there's a problem. When I say free hitter, somebody unblocked. There should never be an unblocked defender coming at a quarterback. And if there is, it should already be identified pre-snap, and there should be a hot route or a sight adjust. Sight adjust meaning you basically look early. In Seattle, we called it follow the wind. Basically, like the wind blows by you, a.k.a. the blitz blows by you. You just turn the head, get a quick game ball, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to get too bogged down in the minutia, but that's the thing that is on the entire offense, 2 of those interceptions. But this is what I'll say. Seattle right now, you're 61-yard field goal away from beating who I think is the best team in the league. That last drive to get there, they were pinned inside the 1-yard line. So despite the fact that he had thrown 4 turnovers, the guy went and gave them a chance to win the game. They were, let's call it 5-6 yards away from Jason Myers being able to kick that thing a little more clean. You're right there. It was on the road. There are a lot of positives there, and your quarterback didn't play well. The defense, finally someone slowed Matthew Stafford down. The defense has played very, very well ever since the Baker Mayfield game, which they were hurt. There's a ton of things to be positive about. And we're going to listen to this interview from Ernest Jones. I'm going to talk about kind of my reaction to it because it was raw, it was authentic, it was really unbelievable for me.
I mean, Sam's been balling. Like, if we want to try to define Sam by this game or what, man, Sam's had us in every game. So for him to sit there and say, oh, that's my fault. No, it's not. There was plays that defensively we could have made plays. There were opportunities where we could have got better stops. Yeah, I mean, like, it's football, man. And he's our quarterback. We got his back. And you got anything to say, quite frankly, you.
Dude, that's the best. I'm going to go nuts here because I can't explain how epic this is to me. First and foremost, what he said is correct, okay? This just shows me the culture in that locker room right now is ripping, and it's a big ordeal, okay? You never want to point the finger at a guy, especially like Sam, who's been balling all year. And for him to just squash this narrative right now, I thought spoke volumes. But again, one of the things that drives me nuts in this league, and I get it, so what have you done for me lately, league? And now everyone wants to say these things like, oh, Sam Darnold, you know, and there are going to be these narratives online. Can he make the big play in the big game? And yeah, even me, I'd like to see him do it. You know, you go back to Minnesota last year, but to have a teammate, especially one on the opposite side of the ball, be like, you can't define this man by this shit. You can't do it. That's a bullshit narrative. Sam Darnold has been unbelievable all year. He's looked fluid. He's looked poised. He's looked smart. He's made a million big throws. Him and JSN are on an absolute torrid pace right now. Unbelievable chemistry there. The team is right there. You want to talk about mentality? Again, he's had a rough game, some bad plays. He goes down, it doesn't matter, 1 yard line, drives to the other team's 43. Again, you're a couple yards shy there. I loved it, and I'll say this, like, if I'm Sam Darnold, yeah, I'm feeling like shit after the game, like I could have played better. And then to see that interview and be like, man, my teammates, especially somebody on the other side of the ball, respects me that much, where he goes and says, like, if you got a problem, you. I thought it was an unbelievable statement. If anything, I think there's a lot the Seahawks can take from this loss. They are right there. Like, even for me as an ex-Seahawk guy, I hate to admit this, sometimes I'm like, how legit is this? How legit is this team? What scared me was the loss of the Bucs a few weeks back. And I'm like, man, that was so strange. And now you can put that stamp on that thing. That Bucs loss is a fluke. It is a fluke. And again, not losing to the Bucs, but the way they lost, the amount of yards they gave up. This defense is legit. Put the stamp on it. Sam Darnold is legit. His own teammates got his back. He's had a very, very good year for them. Okay, the offense has got a lot of weapons, and there's a lot of growth. And the next thing I'll say about Seattle is you've got a very young head coach. You've got a very young offensive coordinator as well. These guys are going to continue to get better and better and better. Like, you can't get much better as far as an offensive coordinator goes than the Kubiak lineage. And when I say lineage, it's like, where did this guy learn from? And if you keep tracing this thing up and up and up, it's going to come from his dad learning from Mike Shanahan. That's the tree we're falling under. It's the offense I played in for most of my career. It's a very successful offense. I'm excited for Seattle right now. I'll tell you this, Seahawks fans, stick with Sam Darnold. I got a great feeling about this guy. I got a great feeling about this locker room, and Ernest Jones has got me fired up. So go Hawks, baby.
Luke, I got a question for you. As someone that's won a Super Bowl, how, with the Seahawks particularly, how quickly do you know you have a real team if you're in that locker room? Like, what about this team is so real, and how quickly could they be a real Super Bowl contender?
So it's funny because it's tough for a fan to see this, but to me, it's how the team shows up Wednesday and how they react after a loss. So I remember vividly, we started the 2013 season 11-1, I want to say, but the one loss was to Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. And I don't quote me on this, producer Rob, you might be able to help me out here. It was either the fourth or fifth game of the season, and we were up in the fourth quarter. And it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen because I believe it was T.Y. Hilton. See how good the memory is. A long time ago. But in the fourth quarter, Andrew Luck started ripping us. T.Y. Hilton, I believe, was the guy who went off. And nobody ripped the Legion of Boom. And at that point, again, I want to say we were 3-1, potentially 4-1. And I'm like, hey, I'm a rookie. Like, how are we going to handle this? Yeah, like, very uncharacteristic. A lot of things happened that generally never happened to that team. We didn't get it done on the offensive side of the ball. The defense didn't have their best week. Like, we showed up after the game, and it was like, guys, flush this right away. We're too good to let this affect us. And that was the first time where, like, for me in college, we weren't a super strong program. So it was like, when things like that happen where you let a game slip away, you kind of got down like, no way that happened. And the culture and the mentality in there was like, yo, this is a fluke. and come ready to work this week. And the Wednesday practice was electric. We were flying around like crazy. And again, we got to the point where I believe we were 11-1. Like, that's a pretty hot start to the season. Ended the season 13-3. Lost a tough one in San Fran and lost a wildly fluky game at home, I believe, to Arizona. And then walked in as the 1 seed in the playoffs. Really controlled New Orleans on the ground and throughout the game in the divisional round. Had what I thought was the game of the year and one of the greatest football games ever in the NFC Championship game against Harbaugh's 49er squad with the infamous tip. And then we all know what happened in that Super Bowl. Absolute beatdown. So for me, it was after a loss, actually, as a youngster, watching these veteran guys handle that loss and come back the next week, which kind of kickstarted us onto an unbelievable tear. And we'll see if it happens to this year's Seattle team, but I think there's a lot of good that can come from this loss, especially when you have guys like Ernest Jones saying that after the game. The Grey Cup has come and gone, and I just want to say a couple observations I had from my week at the Grey Cup. First and foremost, the on-camera stuff for me was a blast. Like, for me personally, doing a lot of television and football, the best times I have are when I'm having fun. And, you know, Duthie comes in and he just, I know obviously he's the legend of this network, but he's so smooth, he's so buttoned up, he's very fun to be around, funny, always takes care of everyone. So that's always a pleasure working with Duthie. And then one of the coolest things is I got a new best friend, Zach Collaros. And Jay Onright mentioned it on his hit on the post-game show. But, you know, we had a couple great conversations. Again, I don't know him super well, but think the world of the guy. His IQ is unbelievable, just unmatched. I was in heaven listening to him talk coverages and what they would do and ideas he had. We get to watch the game together, and at one point, we're drawing out coverages, and I'm like, how does this happen? What's going on here? So I'm hoping to get him on the pod soon, talk some ball, and we'll do the heavy X and O recap of the Grey Cup then. But what I really wanted to talk about was the off-camera stuff for me at the Grey Cup. So I've had the privilege of covering numerous Super Bowls with TSN, and they're awesome. But what I'll say the biggest difference was the Grey Cup was a much more intimate environment when it came to fans. And I thought that was really, really cool. You know, you go to the Super Bowl, and I love covering Super Bowl, but it's wildly corporate. You know, even the parties, the atmosphere, it's like, oh, it's the Bud Light party, it's the Maxim party, this is the Super Bowl. You know, and it's kind of a who's who, like what celebrities get in. It gets a little exhausting for me. When I was playing, it was like, oh, this is awesome. And then you go and you're like, eh. The last few I've been to be honest, I spend most of the time in the hotel room or like doing things off the beaten path. Where the Grey Cup, if you can picture this, and I'm telling you, if you're a football fan, and for those of you who aren't necessarily hardcore CFL fans, I would still consider trying to make a bucket list trip to a Grey Cup. Like, they had this convention center in Winnipeg where each team has like a party every night. I didn't go too often, I'll be very honest, you know, I gotta be a pro, but Thursday night I stepped out a little bit and we went to the Spirit of Edmonton. I got like this is the Edmonton Elks party, and it was pandemonium, you know, and there was a band playing. Again, it just felt like an intimate environment with the fans. I got to meet a lot of people, took a million photos. It was just a lot of fun. And another thing that I would say that was very, very unique about it, being from a broadcasting standpoint, is even on the plane ride there's a bunch of fans from every team in the league. So again, like the Super Bowls I've covered, yes, there's football fans from different teams down there, but you know, if it's Kansas City versus Philly, there's mainly Kansas City fans and Philly fans. Where in the Grey Cup, I saw a ton of Argo fans. I saw a ton of Ticats fans because I'm obviously flying from Ontario. You land there, we're in Winnipeg, there's Bombers fans everywhere. Actually saw quite a bit of BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders. Again, I was at the Spirit of Edmonton one night, so saw a ton of Edmonton fans. You know, obviously the two teams that played in it. It was really a unique experience in that sense. Really, really enjoyed it. I can't say enough. I thought the CFL absolutely killed the week. The commissioner came out, made a really strong stance, and I'm not going to get too much into that because I think that's coming down the road. But a really strong statement and stance, really obliterated any false tin hat numpties that are trying to paint this guy out to be someone he's not. So I thought it was a big week from a front office perspective from the league. You know, shut down a lot of nonsense, garbage rumors. I thought the game itself was electric. You know, very close game, crazy turnover, a lot of big plays. And one thing I just want to reiterate to CFL fans, if you could take something away from that game, don't buy the narrative that more points means better football. Please don't buy that narrative. This game was an 8-point game, okay? And I thought it was electric. There was a third down conversions or stops. There was a Hail Mary at the end of the game. One of my favorite plays was the play to MLS first, and we call it P and 10, your first play of this drive. Oh, it looked like the tides were turning, and the offensive coordinator, Mark Mueller, dials up a shot. I thought that for sure they were going to run the football there. Great play. You talk about putting your nuts on the line. Unbelievable play by MLS. Like Trevor Harris, efficient, you know, smart, savvy. You had a guy playing on one leg. You saw the grit, the toughness of Davis Alexander. A.J. Ouellette was a bell cow. So, again, to me, one of the narratives we need to avoid in that league is, oh, more points is better. More, sure, they can be, but that game to me was a very pure football game. It was a cold night in Winnipeg, two great teams. It was hard-nosed ball on both sides of the ball. D-line, O-line for both teams were ripping at each other. It was an awesome environment. They had a flyover going. I'm not a huge MGK guy. You know, I got nothing against the guy. Do love Megan Fox, but I digress. But I thought the halftime show was awesome. I just thought it was an unbelievable week for the CFL. The league should be very, very proud. The game was awesome. The fans were unbelievable. Again, I got a new best friend. I couldn't be more thrilled about my time at the Grey Cup this week. Oh, and the Riders won. And by the way, a couple episodes ago, we did a CFL playoff prediction. I did pretty well in that prediction.